Thanks for joining us for this special preview, and now our feature presentation. Hey everyone, this is Robin VR, and today's story is Christmas time in New York City. There were two people walking around to find an apartment so they can stay and sleep every night. Their names are Jim and Patricia in the 1980s. And they bought a vehicle called a 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air for $10.99 in 1979 for a newer car to take on trips. Jim in 1978 drove a 1971 BMW from Germany that was $66,000 and it had radiator, radio, parking brake light, and battery problems. And Jim paid the owner $61,000 and the owner said, "No, I want more than that." And Jim said, "Okay, thanks for letting us know." And Jim and Patricia prayed on January 7th, 1979 for a new vehicle when their 1964 Ford Mustang broke down with 17,676 miles on it. And there was no way to fix it because the pressure plate, battery, computer inside, and carburetor were all broken and overheated. And they bought, besides a 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air, is called a 1961 Lincoln Continental with a manual transmission. And they had to get the price right, which includes $14.77. Then Jim liked his 1961 Lincoln Continental and he took it to his work experience at Family Dollar for his first job in 1977 when he was 22 years old, and he heard a car crash near the Brooklyn Bridge with a 1960 Chevrolet Impala driving the wrong way and crashing into a 1968 Dodge Corvette at about 64 miles per hour. And so Jim called 911 and said, "There's an accident near the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a few people injured. Thank you." And they did it. The driver of the 1960 Chevrolet Impala had neck and shoulder injuries for surgery, and the driver of the 1968 Dodge Corvette had wrist and leg injuries for surgery too, when they were both in medical rooms. And the 1980s tow truck took both cars that were totaled when the 60 Impala and 68 Corvette needed to be sold to the junkyard. And Jim went home after work at 6 p.m. to help his wife with chores. And Jim's wife, Patricia, needed to go to the store to get milk, eggs, cheese, bread, water, chips, ground beef, bacon, salad, seasoning, tortillas, medicine, ice cream, chicken, macaroni, cereal, sausages, and fruit. When Jim's wife came back, he and Patricia were happy to have dinner of tacos so they could stay healthy a lot. And Jim had to go to get gas for the 1956 Chevrolet Bel Air so his wife Patricia can go shopping in it every Wednesday. I'm going to stop right here and then show you the next part after this one. A few months later in December, Jim and Patricia were going to get a Christmas tree in the ground in the 56 Bel Air, and they were putting it on top of, and they strapped it under the windows, and Jim and Patricia were driving home, and all of a sudden the 56 Bel Air is having computer problems when they keep turning the key and hitting the gas pedal to get home. And they pushed it so Jim can know to fix it. And Jim found another car on the side road, another Chevy, which includes a 1968 Chevrolet Bel Air, and it cost $21,500 of what he had, so he bought it for himself and he drove it home to impress his wife that he found it on the side road. And Jim found a way to fix the 56 Bel Air, and he found the problem. It was the computer. And it's Christmas time for Jim and Patricia, and they watched Miracle on 34th Street from 1947 on TV. And Jim and Patricia were married on June 11th, 1976 in Queens, New York. And they had a child named Mel on November 3rd, 1977 in New York City. And Jim was born on October 30th in London, United Kingdom. And Patricia was born on December 26, 1954 in a state called Boston, Massachusetts. On December 25th, 1979, Jim and Patricia were so happy this year to be celebrating Christmas with their 2-year-old son, Mel, to have a baby bottle and pacifier in his stocking. And Jim and Patricia were putting away the Christmas stuff by the end of the year on December 31st, 1979, before New Year's. On January 1st, 1980, Jim and Patricia were celebrating New Year's Day to not going to work and to not go somewhere. Jim on New Year's is cleaning the apartment to have it much cleaner as it was before. On March 21st, 1980, Jim and Patricia were getting 3 guinea pigs, which are named Erica, Lorenzo, and Preston, and they fed them with food. And finally, Jim and Patricia were going to get some balloons to blow up for their 2-year-old son, Mel, so that way he can hand the balloons over to his parents and to be careful not to pop them. The end. That's everything for now. Alright, see you in the next video for the next story.